Hey there all, so let's take a look at the objectives for this level. We have one shot and we need to use this shot to defeat the ogre leader, which is the ogre with the most amount of health. So what it wants us to do here is to find the enemy with the most amount of health, then from there it will say the name of said enemy and the archer will shoot it. So let's take a look at this function over here that we have to fill out. So it says that we need to iterate over all the ogres to find the one with the most amount of health. So we can do this by setting up a way to loop through each enemy, check if the enemy is the strongest enemy, and if so, set our strongest enemy to that, and otherwise just moving on and checking the next enemy. So let's start out by creating a while loop to just loop through every single enemy. So while enemy index is less than enemies dot length. Okay, and then next we need to come up with a way to identify the current enemy that we want to look at. So in order to do this, we need to use enemy is equal to enemies enemy index. So what this part does is it will take whichever number enemy index currently is, so 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., of enemies. So it will point out just one singular enemy, like whichever one it may be. Okay? And then after that, we need to check if this enemy's health is more than our current strongest health. So if enemy.health is greater than strongest health, we need to set our current strongest health to this enemy's health. Enemy.health. And we need to update our strongest enemy to this current enemy. So what this is saying is if the enemy's health is currently like the most that we've seen so far, our new most that we've seen so far for enemy's health is our current enemy's health. And our current strongest enemy is our current enemy. And after this, we're just going to add 1 to the enemy index variable. So what this does is it keeps on going through this while loop. So this way we can loop through every single enemy. And once we repeat this process for every single enemy that there is, our strongest enemy should be the enemy with the most amount of health, which is why we return strongest here at the bottom. And from here, it's just going to call our function using the leader variable. And if there's a leader, we will say the name of the leader. So let's just run it to see if it works. And yes, it does. All the ogres go running away.